Katina, were you there? All right, so quiz number 1. All right, so I'm going to quizzes. Actually, let me do this. I made a copy of it. All right, so this was quiz number 1. All right, so where will students, let me make it larger. So where will students access the online test? Again, that's TestNav. And then indicate the timing of each standard time test. So remember, English is the standard time now. We're not talking about accommodations. This is standard time only. English is 45 minutes, math is 60 minutes, science is 35 minutes, and reading is 35 minutes. In what order must the 4 tests be given? So the order is English first, then math, then reading, and then science. 4. A room has students with timing code 6. Suppose on test 1, which is 70 minutes, so English is 70 minutes for timing code 6. So suppose on test 1, which is 70 minutes, the last student finishes the test in less than 40 minutes. All students have completed the test. You are allowed to move on to test number 2. True or false? The answer is false. So remember, in the administration manual, it states that the standard time must have surpassed first before you can move on. So for test number 1, standard time is 45 minutes. So this is 40 minutes here. So you have to wait another 5 minutes before you can move on to test number 2. Question number 5. List the authorized timing with the timing code. And this one's easy. Remember, timing code 1 is standard time. Double time, see the number 2 here, so timing code 2 is double time, and then triple time 3 is timing code 3. Number 6, the computer will keep track of times for all online tests except for 2 timing codes. Which 2 timing codes will require that the room supervisor manually keep track of time? And that's timing code 6 and timing code 7. So almost all of you will have timing code 6. So the room supervisor will have to keep track of the time, not the computer. There will not be any time on the computer. And the reason is, remember, timing code 6 is time and a half. Well, time and a half, let's say English 1, which is 45 minutes for standard time. If you multiply that by 1.5, that's 67.5 minutes. But remember, the ACT allows 70 minutes. So that's why the room supervisor has to keep track of time for anything dealing with time and a half, because TestNav does not accurately keep the time. So for timing code 1, time and a half is 70 minutes. TestNav would put it at 67.5. So that's the reason. Number 7, based on ACT Online Administration Manual, which of the following actions must be done by the test coordinator and not by the room supervisor? So the test coordinator has to prepare test sessions, and the test coordinator has to start the test session. All the other ones would be done by the room supervisor. Number 8, students will need to complete the non-test activities for testing in MyACT, just like they did last year on paper test. All the following are acceptable ways for a student to complete the non-test information in MyACT except, and there were 4 choices, and the one that's the correct answer is asking examinees to complete this the morning of test day in the test room. So you really don't want to do that the morning of, and the reason is because they have to go to a different platform. They have to go to MyACT to do that. So not only are you wasting some time there, but once they're done, then the room supervisor has to go and log into TestNav. They have to set up TestNav. They have to start TestNav. So the MyACT part has to be done either before testing, like the day before or some other time during school, or the students can do it at home, but they have 2 days after they take the last test to complete the non-test activities. Number 9, a student is scheduled to take the standard time test on Wednesday, March 9th. The student is absent on March 9th. True or false? You can test a student on Thursday, March 10th, and not wait until window 2. The answer is true. And then finally, online testing is available on which days? And it's only available on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right, so that was quiz number 1 that y'all had a couple of weeks ago, I think. All right, so let's go back to the agenda. All right, so that was numbers 1 and 2. Any questions on the first 2 items? Let me go ahead and expand this. Okay. All right, so number 3, reminder of recent task. All right, so task number 12 is reconsideration for authorized accommodations, and that window is January 10th through the 28th. Task number 13 was rooms needed for testing, and then task 14 was information on how to enroll or unenroll students in PA Next. So with regards to task number 13, let's just see how many of you completed that task. So let me go to the forms. Let's see. Just bear with me for a moment. So that was sent out last week sometime. Okay. So there's only 8 people that responded. And let's see. Of the 8 people that responded, it was Baton Rouge High, Terra High, Liberty, Broadmoor High School, Woodlawn High School, EBR Virtual, EBR Readiness, and McKinley. So some of you on this call still haven't replied yet. Do y'all remember getting that email? Ms. Harris, you were one of those that hadn't replied yet. Do you remember getting that email? Ms. Harris?
I was trying to unmute the mic.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I may have gotten it. I honestly, we finally got a librarian, so I'm no longer the librarian where I could actually do my own work now. But I'm looking through it now.
Okay, so it was, I forgot what day it was sent, but it's important because IT has to go to your school to download TestNav on those desktops that the students are going to use. Ms. Lodge?
We won't be using any desktop, so I'll just note that.
Well, yeah, so in here, just like Baton Rouge High did, they'll say only using Chromebooks.
Yeah, I'm about to do it now.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lodge. Let's see, Ms. Lodge is...
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Hey, I forgot the school you're located. I'm sorry. Oh, EBR Virtual. Okay, so you've already done that. Thank you. So EBR Virtual is going to use the PDC Center Labs. Laurie Brown is at... Where's Laurie Brown located? Laurie, you're at Northeast, right?
Yes, I'm at Northeast.
Okay, you haven't filled that out yet, so I need for you to complete that.
I'm in the process of doing it. I'm going to talk to Ms. Morgan and see what her plan is,
okay.
And then I will let you know.
Oh, definitely. Try and get that done. I put Wednesday of tomorrow to do this, but if you need another day. Now. Okay, thank you.
I'm texting her right now. I hope to have it done in a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Harris, for completing this. All right. So again, that was task number 13, I think. And IT is going to need that to go into your schools to download TestNav. All right. Now, task number 12, let me remind you what task number 12 is. I'm going to go back to the Canvas course. So I'm in the Canvas course. I'm going to ACT Coordinator task. And here's task 12, reconsideration for authorized accommodations. So remember, the last day to send TAA those documents was 2 Fridays ago, I think. And so you have from the window is the 10th through the 28th. So you have to go into TAA and see, and here's the directions, and see if there's any student that was partially approved or that was not approved that you may need to send additional documentation. So that's called a reconsideration. So that's task number 12. You have from the 10th through the 28th. The January 28th is the last day. Maria Banga has a question. Do I need to submit rooms needed for testing? We are paper-based testing. Maria, you don't have any standard time students?
No, sir. They all have accommodations.
Okay. So on this form, I need for you to put we're doing paper-based only.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and then task 14 is information how to enroll unenrolled students in PA Next. All right, so let's look at task 14. So I'm going to get out of here. So here's task 14. This is actually a video that shows you where to go. But remember, if you have a senior that you uploaded in that SDU file, and that senior, let's say, left the school or is not going to take the ACT test, then unenroll that student. And so the video will explain how to do that. If you get a student from another school, whether it's out of state or out of district or within district, then you're going to do an enroll form. All right, so unenroll any senior. Do not enroll Leap Connect students, and do not unenroll juniors. But if you have a senior who is not going to take the ACT test, now they already have you need to make sure they already have an ACT score. If they have an ACT score and they're not going to take the ACT test, then unenroll the student. All right, any questions on task 14 before we go on? Okay, everybody okay with that? All right. Okay, so let's go back to the agenda. All right, so there's some new tasks. So there's task 15 and task 16. So task 15 is this. So I need for you to provide students with the document preparing for the ACT test, taking in TestNav. So if you go to the Chromebook, if you go to apps, to those kiosk apps, you will see TestNav already in there. So students already have the ability to log into TestNav and take these actual ACT tests. So make sure you give them that document. So here's where that document's located. So this is task 15. So I'm going to task 15 right here, and so I'm going to click on this. And when I click on it, let's see, it's trying to download. All right, so this is the document you're going to give the students. So make sure all students have this. So have your English teacher send it to them. However they use, I guess they still use Google Classroom. All right, it explains how to take the test and all the information about the different parts of the test, the calculator part, the cross-out part, and so on. All right, but let me kind of show you what's going to happen. So when they actually log into TestNav, which I already have it downloaded, so they're going to log into this on the Chromebook, and it's still starting. Let's see, it's okay. So it looks something like this. It's okay, there we go. All right, so this is what they're going to see. Now they may see this actually. So I'm going to see that little person icon. I'm going to just go and choose a different customer, because in Chromebook, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see all of this. You want to go to the ACT right here. That's where you want to go. So we click on the ACT, it brings you to this. So on test day, this is what they're going to see. The room supervisor on test day will go to each computer and make sure that this is showing. So it'll say TestNav, the ACT. The authorization tickets that we talked about last time, this is where they're going to enter the information, username and password. But right here It's a practice test. Students have access to that right now. So make sure they're using these. And also it's a good idea to have students do this now. So that way, if there are any students that have issues with TestNav in their Chromebook, you can get the IT department to fix it. All right. So one of the reasons why you want to do this now is to determine which students, which Chromebooks are having issues with TestNav. All right. So any questions on this task before I move on? Okay. All right, then let me go ahead and X out of that. All right, what I want you to do now, and this is the next, well, I think there's another, let me go ahead and X out of here. Don't save. All right, so I'm going to go back to the agenda. So that was task 15. Task 16 is qualified exceptions to the deadline. And that window is January 17th, so that started yesterday through March 4th. So that's task 16. So I'm going to the Canvas course right here. So here's a Canvas course. So task 16 is right here. So if you click on that arrow and open it up, this is task 16. So basically, remember the last day to ask TAA for accommodations was 2 Fridays ago. January 7th was the last day. But if you have a student that transfers to your school, a junior, let's say, that transferred to your school and needs accommodations, then you're going to have to do a qualified exception. So here are the criteria. So there's like 5 criteria. So one is student transfer to our school after the published accommodation support request deadline. 2, student was classified into a new grade level after the published accommodation support request deadline. 3, student was evaluated, given a new diagnosis, and started on a new accommodation support plan after the published accommodation support request deadline. The next one, student was identified as an English learner and started receiving language supports after the published accommodation support request deadline. And the last one is student had a medical emergency or a sudden onset of a medical condition after the published accommodation support request deadline. And then you would complete the part that says test coordinator certified. So any questions on how to use this form? All right, so again, if you have a student that transferred to your school between now and the day before testing, let's say, well, I think the deadline for this is March 4th. Let me go back. Yep, March 4th. Deadline's March 4th. So if you have a student that transferred to your school and needs accommodations, then you have to do this form. And then you would go and look, it says this. Let's see, right here. This form must be submitted in TAA along with all required information and documentation by the deadline published in schedule of events, and that deadline is March 4th. All right, any questions at this point? Okay, so let me go ahead and X out of that one. So we're done with this. All right, let me go back to the agenda. So now what I want you to do now is, and remember, one of the things I asked you to do was to have 2 computers near you, one where you're seeing the meeting and the other one where you can do some things on another computer. So on your desktop, wherever you are, I want you to download TestNav. So when you download TestNav, you're going to go to, let's see, I think it's, I kind of did this wrong. It's supposed to be download.testnav.com. So type in download.testnav.com, and I want you to choose windows.msi. So go ahead and do that now on your computer. In the address bar, type in download.testnav.com and then choose windows.msi. All right, Maria Banga. Okay, so that was a previous question. All right, I think Mary, you've already downloaded that. Is that correct from the last meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so when you download it, raise your hand. So Ms. Givens, Ms. Harris, Ms. Wheeler, Ms. Banga, Ms. Brown, and Ms. Lodge. Thank you, Ms. Harris. And when you download it, it'll look like that icon that you saw earlier on my desktop. Right here. It'll look like, it'll say Pearson TestNav as an icon. And you're going to need this because when we do that mock administration, you're going to have to go there. That's where you're going to do that mock administration. Thank you, Ms. Wheeler. All right, Ms. Banga, Ms. Brown, Ms. Lodge, and Ms. Givens. Make sure you go and download that. Ms. Givens is still working on it. Okay, Ms. Brown's done. Thank you, Ms. Brown. So download.testnav.com and then click on windows.msi. All right, I think Ms. Banga's probably not. Ms. Banga, I still want you to download this, and the reason is because the practice test. So you'll be able to show the students where the practice tests are.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and you know, at your school, you usually have at least one student that wants to go to a community college or some university. So still show those students where those practice tests are. Okay, Ms. Lodge, how far are you on this?
It's downloading.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that was number 5. And then for the Chromebooks, it's already there. You just go to that kiosk app and you'll see TestNav at the bottom. It is very important that you have your students, have your English teachers, have your students click on it. And I say English because every student takes an English class. So have your English teachers, have your students click on it to see if there are any issues. If there are any issues, you're going to have to do a help desk ticket to fix that issue. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is look at the online manual, the makeup testing, and that's on pages 10 and 11. So it's a video, so I'm going to show you that video. And also it's located, let me just tell you where it's located in Canvas. So when you go to Canvas at the home page, you see right here where it says Online Administration Manual Trainings. It is number 3. So number 3 is the makeup testing video. And so that video I'm about to show you is this one. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this. So let me go here, though. I'm not going to use the one that's there, that link that's there. I'm going to go to the one I have saved. I'm going to go back all the way in and get it. Let's see. Just bear with me. Videos. All right, I need the one that says makeup. So that's not this one. Okay, meeting videos. There we go. All right, so I'm about to click on this. Now, before I click on it, let me make sure I set it up to where y'all can hear it. All right, so I'm going to go here. Oops, I got to redo this again. Sorry. I'm going to go and include computer sound. Click on this. All right, and then I'm going to click on this. Okay, can y'all hear me? All right, so we're going to look at the makeup testing information that is in the Spring 2022 Administration Manual for State and District Testing. And this is going to be for both standard time and accommodations. All right, so on page 10, under makeup testing, eligibility for makeup testing. For the ACT taken online, if you are unable to administer the test to an examinee due to absence or illness, you may reschedule that examinee to test on another day within your testing window. You may not reschedule examinees who completed testing or were dismissed for prohibited behavior. Examinees dismissed for prohibitive behavior are not permitted to test in any other test session. This includes testing via paper. Note, if you have any paper testing examinees at your school who missed their initially scheduled test date, they may be eligible to use the online window to complete makeup testing. This will allow the examinees to test sooner rather than waiting for the scheduled paper subsequent test date. If you are unsure if the examinee's accommodations can be provided in an online format, please contact ACT for assistance. All right, makeup for single day testing. Makeup for single day testing. Just a reminder, single day testing would be timing code 1, which is standard time, timing code 5, which are the breaks as needed. Remember, breaks as needed are done in a single day, and timing code 6. Remember, timing code 6 is 1 1/2 time in a single day. So those 3 timing codes are done in a single day. So again, timing code 1, which is standard time, timing code 5, breaks as needed, and timing code 6, which is 1 1/2 time. Now, just a reminder, breaks as needed cannot exceed a total of 90 minutes. All right, so let's continue with that section on makeup testing for single day testing. For single day testing, reschedule an examinee if he or she, bullet number 1, was absent for or was not admitted to the test session, such as did not log in to TestNav. Bullet number 2, began testing but did not complete all tests, such as an illness. Use the table below to determine your action. If the examinee did not log in and will take a makeup session, then the test coordinator will remove the examinee from the test session and assign him or her to another test session in Pearson Access Next. Note, when you move the student to a new test session, you will need to print a new student authorization ticket. So let's look at what this looks like in PA Next, in Pearson Access Next. So I'm going to go to testing, and I'm going to go to sessions, and it's going to list all my sessions. Now remember, the test coordinator should remove the student, but I do believe that the room supervisor has that ability as well. But for makeup testing, here's what you can do. So if a student did not log in and will take a makeup session, we need to remove the examinee from the test session and assign him or her to another test session in Pearson Access Next. So let's go to, I want to go to this test session right here. So, and notice that the session status, and we've talked about some of this in a previous session. See, it says not prepared, in progress. This one stopped, and this says in progress. So by the time you're ready for ACT testing in March, you will understand what all of this means and how all of this came to be under the session status. But let's go to this session here. So I'm going to go ahead and check it off. And remember, we need to go to the task pane here. We're going to click on Show Students in Sessions and Control Sessions. That's where you must go. All right, once you do that, we get this information. Notice there's only one session here, and just a reminder, you have different colors here: gray, red, and light blue or teal, and that corresponds to these colors right here. So notice I have 2 students that log into TestNav and exited. That's what that means. Okay, I have 1 student that went through all 4 tests and completed the test session. So they completed all 4 tests. And then I have 1 student that did not start. So what I want to do at the end of, let's say this is a standard time, a single day test, which is what we're talking about, single day test. The student did not show up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I need to go ahead and remove the student out of that session. So to remove the student out of the session, here's what you do. You're going to click on the little checkbox next to the student's name right here. So notice there's a check now. We're going to go back to the task pane. Okay. We're then going to go to right here where it says under students, remove students from session. Before I do that, let's go ahead and make a note of the student that I'm removing. So I'm going to go ahead and write down the student code. I don't know if we can use that in here, but we do need the student's last name. So in this case, the student's last name is last AN, and then I'm just going to put the student code 577594277. So I just wrote down that information. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on Remove Students from Sessions. Okay, click on this, and then you're going to start. Go to Start. So by the time we get into a week before testing, you and your test coordinator should be able to do this very easily. So we're going to click on the student that needs to be removed. We're going to click on Task Pane right here. Click on Task Pane. Then go to and click on Remove Students from Sessions. Then we go to Start. Watch what happens when I click on Start. So when I click on Start, it's still moving. When I click on Start, all right. Now notice we get this information. So remove students from sessions. So I want to remove the one I just spoke about. And so that is going to be the one with the last 4 numerical digits being 4277. So that's this one right here. So I'm going to click on this. That's the student I want to remove, right? I'm going to click on this. And then I'm going to click on Remove. You have to do that as well. So click on that. And before I do that, notice that this one you cannot remove. Students cannot be removed from sessions with current status. So see the status is marked complete. Once a student is marked complete, or once a student is complete, you cannot remove a student from a session. You can only remove a student from a session if the student has not logged into TestNav. In this particular case that we're looking at. Okay, so to see those 2 reddies, I can remove those 2 students from the test sessions. But for this particular test session I'm looking at, I only want to remove this student. So we're going to click on the little box next to the student's name, and then I'm going to click on Remove. Okay. All right. So it says Changes Saved. Then I'm going to go to and look, that student is no longer in this list. So then I'm going to go to Exit Task. I'm going to go to Exit Task, and I want to show you something. So notice that we're still in this session right here, this test session that I created, and that student is no longer there. Okay? All right, so the student's no longer there. Now what I want to do now is, remember, I'm going to show you what you have to then do. All right, so notice, remove the examinee from the test session, which we just did, right? And assign him or her to another test session in Pearson Access Next. So I'm going to go and I'm going to show you what you would then have to do. Okay, so I'm going to go back to testing. I'm going to go back to testing. I'm going to go to sessions. And So I'm going to put that student that we just removed into makeup number 2 right here. So I'm going to click on the little box. I am then going to go to the pane right here, and I'm going to click on Add Remove Students in Sessions. So I'm going to click on Add Remove Students in Sessions. I'm going to go to Start. Okay. I'm going to go to Start. And by the way, before I do that, you see this little makeup number 2? See where it says number of students? There's no students in there yet. See? There's 1 student in the first one, 1 student in that third session, 3, 3, and 8. But none in this one. All right, so I wanted you to be aware of that. So I'm going to, again, click on Add Remove Students in Sessions. Go to Start. Go to Start. And then we got to find that student. All right, so you can find by name or ID. So I'm going to go ahead and do that ID. And the ID was 57759, and that was it right here. Right here. See that one? Okay. So then here it is. You must click on that student right here. Right here. Click on that. And then we're going to save. So let's see what happens when I save. And so when I save, it says changes made. And then I'm going to go ahead and exit. I'm going to go ahead and exit. And I'm going to come back to sessions right here. And notice there's 1 student in that session now. So if you want to see what students in that session and make sure you did this correctly, go back to testing. I'm sorry, it's already checked off. So go back to the select panes. Show students in sessions and control sessions. And notice in that 1 makeup test right here, there's that student. Okay, and that student is locked. Students is locked. When you get ready to test a student, remember you're going to have to prepare the session. All right, but that student is locked and ready. You just got to prepare the session. Okay, so that is, I'm going to move this. So that is this first part here. So student did not log in and will take a makeup session. You are then going to remove the examinee from the test session and assign him or her to another test session in Pearson Access Next. All right, now remember, once we did that, when you're ready to test that student, you will then have to print the new student authorization ticket with a new username and password. All right, let's look at the second one now. If the examinee began but did not finish and will take a makeup test, change the test status to marked complete and provide a detailed reason. You must contact ACT to create a new test registration. All right, so remember, you must contact ACT to request a new test registration. So if a student began but did not finish and will take the makeup, so for example, the student took test number 1, got ill, went home, let's say. And so all in this, remember, this is all in single day testing. Got ill, then the student's going to retake all 4 tests on another day. But you have to mark this test status as marked complete and provide a detailed reason. So let me show you how to do that. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to Pearson Access Next. I'm going to go to testing. I'm going to show all sessions. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go back, and I think we can go back to the one we were working with earlier. I'm going to go back to this one right here. And I'm going to go to the task pane. I'm going to click on Show Students in Sessions and Control Sessions. And click on this. You must click on this for the students to show up, and the students are showing up. Okay? All right. So you see those exited right here? So the student, in one instance, actually in both, in one instance, this student right here was in the middle of English, in the middle of English, and actually just went ahead and logged out of TestNav. Do not tell students to log out of TestNav for single day testing. All right, this particular student took test 1 and logged out of TestNav. All right, now the student number 2 got ill, okay, got ill, and the student needs to leave, right? So then you would tell the student to log out of TestNav. So the student gets ill and gets ill at the end of test 1, is not coming back for test 2, have them log out of TestNav. Okay? All right. If the student let's say, all right, let's suppose during test 1, this student right here leaves to go to the restroom. Do not tell the student to log out of TestNav, because if the student logs out of TestNav, the timer stops. All right, so once a student logs out of TestNav, the timer stops. So it is very important that students understand that they should never themselves log out of TestNav. That should come by the room supervisor. The room supervisor needs to determine that. If a student is leaving to go to the restroom, do not have the student log out of TestNav. The student loses a time. The timer continues, and the room supervisor must keep track of the time lost. Okay, we're going to talk about that some more later. All right. If a student at the end of test 1 becomes ill, all right, at the end of test 1 becomes ill, then and has to leave, then go ahead and have the student log out of TestNav. Okay. All right. Now, okay, with all that being said, we're still trying to work on the second one. The examinee began but did not finish, and we'll take a makeup session. So we're going to change the test status to marked complete and provide a detailed reason. Now remember, you're going to contact ACT to request a new test registration. So let me go back and pull this over. And so here's how you're going to do this. Let's suppose we're going to have this student, which has already started the test, student number 2 right here, that has already started the test. I'm going to go ahead and have that student got sick at the end of test 1, and I'm going to go ahead and have that student do a makeup. Okay, so here's how you're going to do this. You got to make sure that this goes from exited to marked complete. You have to right here where it says marked complete. Okay, so let's go ahead and see this. And you're all going to have this situation probably. So you can click on the box right here. Click on the box. And we're going to go back to that task pane. Click on the task pane, and you see where it says marked student test complete. You're going to click on that box. Then you're going to go to start. And when you do that, here is what happens. It's still turning. All right, there we go. All right, so here's the one I need to move right here. So I'm going to click on this box right here. Oh, by the way, you got to do a reason. So I'm going to say a detailed reason. See the little asterisk right here? All right, so you're going to say student became ill during test 1, let's say. All right. Went home. Went home. Will take a makeup. Will take a makeup. Okay, so student became ill during test 1. Went home, we'll take a makeup. All right, so then I'm going to click on the little box. You must click on the box next to the student's name. And now, well, before I do that, let me show you what happened. See how this mark complete was a different blue? Then when I click on it, it became darker blue. So it was a lighter blue, and now it's a darker blue. So it kind of became bolded, let's say. So click on the box, becomes bolded, darker blue. Now click on mark complete. And before I do that, I want to show you. See how it says exit right here for that student? When I click on it, it now becomes, watch what happens, it now becomes marked complete. Okay? All right, so that student is now marked complete. So I'm going to go ahead and exit task, and see that student that I had checked off? It now says mark complete. All right, now let me remind you the difference between mark complete and completed. So mark complete is something that the room supervisor or task coordinator does. Completed means that the student completed all 4 tests on their own. That's what that means. All right, so students submitted test 1, submitted test 2, submitted test 3, submitted test 4. That's what that means. Mark complete is something the room supervisor did or the test coordinator did. All right, so that is how you are going to mark a student test as complete. All right, just a reminder where it says the note, examinees must take all tests in the makeup session even if some were completed in initial session. Tests from one session cannot be combined with tests from another session. So just like paper testing from previous years, if a student took one test, it got ill, and went home, then when you did the makeup, the student had to take all 4 again. Okay, so that's what that's saying. All right, so now we're going to look at makeup testing for multiple day testing. So that's the other timing codes. So for multiple day testing, reschedule an examinee if he or she, bullet number 1, was absent, such as did not log in to TestNav for that sitting, or bullet number 2, logged into TestNav for that sitting, but did not enter the seal code to begin the test. All right, so, and then we're going to use a table to determine your action. So again, for multiple day testing, reschedule an examinee if he or she was absent during that test, whatever the test may be, test 2, test 3, test 4, test 1, did not log in to TestNav for that sitting. If the student logged into TestNav for that sitting but did not enter the seal code to begin the test, then you can reschedule an examinee for that test. Okay? But once the student enters the seal code, you cannot retest that student on that test. All right, so once that student enters the seal code, you cannot retest the student. So for multiple day testing, reschedule an examinee if he or she was absent or logged into TestNav for that sitting but did not enter the seal code to begin the test. All right, let's use the table to determine your action. All right, if the examinee will take the missed test, then the test coordinator will reschedule the student to test on another day in the current online test window and resume the examinee's test in Pearson Access on the makeup test day. Second one, logged into TestNav but will not take the missed test. In other words, will not finish testing. You're going to change the test status to mark complete and provide a detailed reason. So we all know how to do the second one. We all know how to change the test status to mark complete now. And again, when you do a mark complete, you are required to provide a detailed reason. The third one, did not log into TestNav, so if the examinee did not log into TestNav and will not take the missed test, then remove the examinee's test from the test session. All right, so just a reminder, whenever, and I'm looking at, let's go back to testing sessions, and let me find one. So still turning. Let me go to, let's say, this one here. I want to see what's in this one. So I'm going to go to show students. Oops. Show students. All right, so there are no students. Oops. All right. Okay, so I have these students here. Notice two says mark complete, all the others says ready. So let me just remind you. So the third one says the examinee did not log into TestNav and will not take the missed test. So notice ready right here means that none of those examinees logged into TestNav. That's what that means. Okay? So did not log into TestNav and will not take the missed test, then remove the examinee from the test session. So remember, before you can mark a test complete, or before you can stop a session, I should say, before you can stop a session, you must remove any student with ready. So let's say we need to remove this one. So let me just remind you how to do that. Remove a student. So let's say we're going to remove this one. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to task pane. I'm going to say remove students from session, and then start. And that was this one. Oops, I forgot which one I was going to remove. I should have kept track of it. Let's just say it was this one right here. Yeah, it was in this one here. So it was that one. So click on remove, and changes were saved. Changes were saved, and then let's go and exit test. All right. So that's how you remove a student, and we did it a while ago as well. Okay. So if an examinee will take the missed test, then reschedule the student to test another day in the current online test window and resume the examinee's test in Pearson Access Next on the makeup test day. Second one, log into TestNav, but will not take the missed tests. In other words, will not finish testing. Change the test status to mark complete and provide a detailed reason. If the examinee did not log into TestNav and will not take the missed test, remove the examinee's test from the test session. Note, if an examinee is absent for a group sitting, he or she can make up the test and then rejoin the group for the next sitting as long as everyone will be taking the same test at the same time. If the examinee cannot take the missed test in time to rejoin the next group sitting, you may need to reschedule all remaining tests for that examinee individually. All right, so if an examinee is absent for a group sitting, he or she can make up the missed test, and then rejoin the group for that next sitting as long as everyone will be taking the same test at the same time. If the examinee cannot take the missed test in time to rejoin the next group sitting, you may need to reschedule all remaining tests for that examinee individually. So for example, let's say it's over multiple days and you do one test in one day, one test another day, and you do the two remaining tests, which are shorter, in one day. So let's say over 3 days. If you do it consecutively, like let's say, remember this is online, so let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Remember, online testing is only Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you do it consecutively like that, chances are you're going to have some students that will miss that day. You cannot put that student back in that session if they're working on different tests. So you may have to then test that student separately in comparison to the others in a different room. Okay, so So every student in that room must be working on the same test. All right. Okay, now, okay, so you remember right here where it says if the student will take the missed test. Remember, this is over multiple days, right? So the student will take the missed test. So test number 1, the student took. So remember, at the end of test number 1 on multiple days, the student's going to log out of TestNav. Okay, you're going to log out of TestNav. Then on whenever the student comes back to take test number 2, the student is going to resume the online testing. So here's how you're going to do the resume. All right, so let me go to an example. So let's suppose I went to a test session, and you see where it says exited, marked complete, or completed. So this student, let's say, the one that says exited, let's say the student took test number 1 on one day. So at the end of the day, the student logs out of TestNav. Okay? So to get ready for the next day, though, we've got to come back and resume testing for that student or those students. They're all going to say exited after that one day. So we're going to click on this student. If this is a student I need to resume, we're going to click on that student. I'm going to go to the task pane and see where it says resume student test. So I'm going to click on resume. I'm going to click on start, and that's the one I need to resume right here. And then we click resume, and now exited becomes this orange resumed. So the student is now ready to take that second test the next day. Okay, so that's how you're going to change to resumed. All right, so that's going to take care of this section of the administration manual dealing with. Okay, so that's where we are. Any questions on this? Karen, I saw you. When'd you come in, Karen?
Earlier, the first computer I logged in didn't have a mic and all of that.
Okay. All right. So any questions on those of you that saw it? Karen, I don't know how much of this you saw, but the rest of you, any questions on the makeup testing? There's a lot of stuff that's involved with online testing. I know it may seem overwhelming, but the more you practice with this, the better it becomes, the easier it becomes. And you are going to have to get your room supervisors to practice with this as well. So it's not just you that has to deal with this, it's your room supervisors. So when picking your room supervisors, make sure you pick room supervisors that you know will be able to do this without any difficulty. Okay, any questions? Mary, do you have a mic?
Yes.
Okay. I prefer you say it without having to type it in chat. So Mary's question is, any updates with juniors and no match seniors? So the state was supposed to have uploaded this by Friday. They haven't. So apparently there were a lot of people that sent the state an email because they were under the impression that it was loaded. Well, it was not loaded. So this morning I got an email indicating that they're looking into it. So Mary, no, I don't have any updates on this. I'm sorry, but once I do, I will send you the next task, and that goes to the next agenda. So agenda items. Let me go ahead and X out of this. I'm going to X out of this. I want to go to the agenda items. All right. So this is number 7. Where was the agenda on? I must have. Let's see. There was one on. We did the makeup testing. Okay, must have been something I didn't put on there, but we talked about it last time. So the juniors, remember the state's going to upload the juniors and those seniors without a ACT score by the 14th. They still have it. Once that Once that's done, then there's going to be another task that you have to do with it, though. Now, let me remind you, all test coordinators received a match, no match list from Debbie. So, let me see. Ms. Harris, you should have done that. Is that correct?
Yes, I have it.
Okay. Miss Wheeler, it was sent to Miss Fanny. So you need to get with her because it was sent to her email. Miss Wheeler? Okay, Marie.
Yes, she's on medical leave.
Yeah, so I need you to email Debbie, Miss Wheeler.
Yes.
Email Debbie Breland and say Miss Thandy's on medical leave, that you need the password and the spreadsheet.
I have. Okay.
You have what?
I thought I had that already.
So Miss Debbie sent it to you?
This came from Accountability EBR email.
Yeah, so it was a match no match list?
Yeah, it says
Okay.
2021, 2022
Okay.
ACT match no match roster.
Okay. All right, great. All right, then you got it. Maria, did you get yours?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Address, it should have been sent to you, I think. Is that correct? Address Lodge.
Yes, I have mine.
Okay, thank you. Mary, you have yours. Karen, did you get yours?
Yes.
Okay. And Katina, it was sent to you as well. Did you get yours? Katina? Oh, Lord, Katina. Katina, I put in chat. Please respond.
I hear you.
Did you get the match no match list?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then
Thank you.
and then Laurie, yours was did you get yours, Laurie? Because Dion's on leave as well.
Yeah, I don't have it. I think she probably got it.
Okay, what I need for you to do is to well, first of all, when is Miss Morgan coming back?
I think one day next week.
Okay. All right, I need for you to email Debbie Breland and
Okay.
tell her that Miss Morgan's on leave and that you need the match no match list.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right,
You're welcome.
so that takes care of everyone. All right, now look at number 7. So here's what I want to do with number 7. So number 7 says this: setting up test sessions. So this is where you're going to go and you're going to practice on all this stuff that was in the videos. So bullet number 1, this is done in training.testadmin.act.org. So I need all of you to go to training.testadmin.act.org. So in the address bar, you're going to type in training.testadmin.act.org. And it's going to look like Pearson Access Next, except it's going to say training. So let me know when you've gotten there. So raise your hand when you get there. So training.testadmin.act.org. Okay, raise your hand when you get there. Okay, thank you, Ms. Brown, Ms. Banga, Ms. Wheeler, Ms. Lodge, Ms. Harris, Karen, are you there yet?
No, sir, not yet.
Training.testadmin.act.org. training.testadmin.act.org. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and what we're going to work on is creating a test session. And I think, no, we didn't do all of this Thursday, so we're going to do the rest of these. Thank you, Katina. We're going to do the rest of these this Thursday. So this coming Thursday will be meeting number 6. But we created a test session, and I think we also talked about removing students from a test session. I can't remember. Mary, do you remember what we did? You were there. I know we created a test session, and I can't remember what else we did.
Sorry about the mute. You also did the managed test sessions, like showing us how to put students in creating the test sessions. You did that first bullet.
Okay. All right. Okay. Miss Wheel, it's going to be at 9 o'clock. Our meeting Thursdays at 9. All right. So, by the way, these pages that I'm referring to right here is in the online manual. So I'm going to go back to the Canvas course. I'm going to go to Home and see where it says Manuals. I'm clicking on Manuals. I'm going to use the one that says Online. So it's going to download. It's going to download. And I need to go to page 41. Except I think it may be 52 in the PDF. Let's see. So there's page 45. So it's on page 41. Okay. So this is where, now all of you are going to have to create test sessions. So these are the steps. So step 1, go to the test icon and so on. So rather than just reading all of this, I'm just going to show you what to do. So have this in front of you and follow along. And I also want you to create one. So I need for you to create one as well. So let's work on creating a test session together. And the reason that's going to be important is because by Thursday, you're going to have a bunch of sessions created. Because in order to do the rest of this, you have to have a session created. And we're going to need this for the mock administration. So all of you are going to have to do a mock administration before testing. Ms. Harris, you had a question? Okay. All right. So let's do this together. So follow along. I need you to create a session. Okay. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to, well, you got to sign in. By the way, your sign in is the same. You see when you click on sign in? When you click on sign in, it's still turning. Your username and password is the same as your username and password for PA Next. So it's the same. So it's your email address and your password is the same password you would use. So go ahead and use your password. And it's the same you would with PA Next. Now we're in training. We're not in PA Next though, but we're in training. Okay, did everyone get to this point? Let's see. Let me go ahead and... Anyone having difficulty getting to this point?
Yeah. I don't, I'm not logged in yet.
All right, go ahead and log in. Ms. Givens, you said you have a problem. What's the problem?
It says user has not yet created in this website or authorization has been removed and therefore does not have appropriate authorization privileges. If you feel you have received this message in error, please contact a representative to assist you to gain the appropriate access. That's what it's saying when I log in.
I have the same message.
All right, let's see. I'm going into PA Next. All right, let me try it. So let's see. I'm going to, let me go to users. I think I can go to users and just, let's see. Okay. Okay, Neetha, you're in there. So, roles, organization, Liberty High School. So I need, Miss Wheeler, you went to training.testadmin.act.org?
Yes, I'm creating a new password right
Okay.
now.
All right, and I think, Miss Givens, you're in there as well. Let me just try something. Let me just do your last name.
I've already, I thought it may have been my password. I reset the password, and did all that. And it says that I don't, something about authorization,
Okay.
no access. I need to refresh again or something?
No,
No,
hold on. Let me just try something. Let's see. And Miss Givens, you were the coordinator all this time, so I'm just wondering who's been going in ACT in your place if you don't have a.
Nobody goes in my place. I have a backup person.
Maybe that's the person who's been doing all the tasks then. So let's
Correct.
see. Okay. Okay, EBR readiness. I'm trying to find EBR readiness.
And I'm in the training mode, so I don't know what's the problem.
Let's see. Enabled. Katina, what's your email address? K Thompson.
K Thompson at EBRschools.org.
Okay. The user already exists. So let me go see. So, your account was disabled for some reason. So I'm enabling it, and I'm saving. Okay, so try now.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
You may need to reset your password, but try the old password, see what happens. Miss Albert, were you able to get in?
No.
No, what?
No.
Maybe you're disabled as well. Let's see.
I did the reset password, but that still didn't work, and I'm trying to do it again. There's a reset token that it gives me.
Yeah, you're in, so I don't, and it's enabled, so I'm not sure what the problem is.
Okay.
Okay. So let me give Katina one more minute, Miss Albert. I don't know what the problem is with yours. Because everything looks good on my end. You're gonna have to just continue on with resetting the password. Katina, were you able to get in?
Not yet. When I tried my password, it still said access, didn't have access. So I went out of it, and now I'm trying to go back into it. Because it's just when you updated and enabled my account, they sent me an email with my username.
Okay.
So now I'm gonna see what's gonna happen.
Okay. All right. Let me give one more minute, and then we'll continue on. If you're not able to get something done by the time we start, you can just look at the video, and then work. And then once you get the issue.
No, sir, it's still not allowing me to get in there.
Huh?
No, sir. I'm gonna try on a different computer and see if it'll work on another computer.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the steps. So you have the steps in front of you, and let me X out of this. I need to go to training. So that's this one. All right. So you have the steps in front of you. Let me get to the manual again. All right, let me find those manuals. Let me do this over. Trying to find where that manual is. I guess I deleted it somehow. Let me go back and get that manual again. So we're on page 41 of the manual. Okay, so we're on page 41. All right, so follow along with me and also create your own session. All right, so in the training module, we're going to go to testing icon right here. You're going to go to sessions. Okay, and let me make sure I'm in the right school. So let me go back to the school I was in. All right, so these are the sessions I've already created. So to create a session, we're on step number 3. You're going to go to the task pane. You're going to go to, see where it says create and edit sessions. Click on that little box and then go to start. And then we see this. Okay, let me know, except for Ms. Givens and Miss Albert, the rest of you, let me know if you got to this point. Okay, so this should be where you are. Ms. Banga, did you get that far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so now once you get to that point, you're going to do a session name. Now you got to think about how you're going to name your session. So remember, the room supervisor has to do a lot of stuff. So I would suggest that in the session name, however you name it, you also have the room supervisor's last name. It's also helpful if you have the timing code, whether it's timing code 1, timing code 2, 3, 5, 6, or 7. So let's say this is timing code 1, and it is Ms. Banga. That's going to be the test. That's going to be the room supervisor, and however else you want to name it. Let's say you want to put the date there. So let's say it's on March 8th, 22. So however you do it, it's very important, though, that the room supervisor knows which one's their sessions, because all the sessions can be listed. So make it easy for them to find their own. So having their last name in the session helps. Okay, so then you're going to go to make sure your organization name is here. Then anything with an asterisk needs to be completed. So we're going to do test assign. So it's going to be the ACT multiple choice. The scheduled start date. So let's read about what it says. So for scheduled start date, notice it says this. I am right here. Notice it says select the date of the session. If the session is for examinees testing with accommodations over multiple days, select the first date examinees will test. All right, so you're going to put whatever, this is timing code 1, so whenever that test is the date, the date that you would put. So let's say it's March 10th. I'm making all this up. Well, I use March 8th here, so let's say March 8th. So I'm going to March and 8th. All right, so that's March 8th. For scheduled start time, this is what it says. For scheduled start time, it says leave this as a default. So leave it as 1 a.m. And then the form group type for us right now, it's going to be the mock administration. We are not doing pre-caching. We're hoping that the mock administration works so we don't have to do pre-caching. And then there are the student names right here. So you click on, see right here where it says students. You go down the list, and those are the students at your school. All right. So you can search by name. So let's say it was last. See how if I put last BO, only that student shows up. If you don't want to do that way, if you just want to go through the list, so you know that this student's in that session. So notice it shows up. Click on the white space again, you get the rest of this list. So let's say it's this one. Click again, let's say it's this one. Okay, so that's how you add students to that session. Any question at this point? All right, once you added all your students, and in this case I'm just putting 3, then you say create. So you click the create button either here or here, does not matter, and then click on the name again right here. It brings you back to all the stuff in case you need to change something. So those are the 3 students you added. If you need to add another one to another name to that session, then go back and just find the student, and then I think if you just save, it'll be fine. So save, and now you should have 4 students. Okay. All right. So go ahead and create a session. Ms. Harris, did you create a session yet?
I'm doing it now.
Thank you. Mr. Lodge, did you create a session?
I'm doing it right now as well.
Okay. Ms. Brown, did you create one? Are you still working on one?
Yes, I created one.
Okay, thank you. So the creating one's pretty easy. You just got to figure out how you're going to name it, how you're going to name them, and you also have to determine which students are going to go into those sessions. Karen, did you create one?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go back and create another one. So I'm going to go ahead and create another one. And so let's say, I just want to show you something. So I'm going to go ahead and create another one. Let's say it's timing code 6. I'm going to do Ruffin. However we name it. I'm just going to name it like this for right now. ACT, multiple choice. Start date, let's say it'll be March 9th. Mock administration. All right, and then we can just add a couple of students. So let's say this one, and then scroll down. I'm just going to pick one more. All right, we're going to, oops, I didn't mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to put the students in right now, so that's what I want to do. So let's say all you want to do is just create a session, not put any students in, okay? You do not have to put students right now. All you can do is just create a session. All right, so let me show you what's going to happen. So notice I didn't put any students in. So I'm going to go and create. So there's the session right here that I just created. When I click on it, there are no students, right? Okay, so let's say 2 days later you come back. I'm going to go ahead and exit. 2 days later you come back and you want to put the students in now. So that is this part right here, assigning examinees to a test session. So here's how you're going to do this. So you're going to go to testing. You're going to click on sessions. You're going to find the session. So the one I was looking at was going to be Ruffin. So that's this one right here. Ruffin right here. Notice there are no students in here, right? There are none. So I'm going to click on it. Click on that little box next to it. Then the task pane right here. You're going to go and you're going to click on show. Now don't do this one right here. Don't add remove students from sessions. Click on show students in sessions and control sessions. That's where you're going to go. All right, then click on the session list right here. Click on the name, and notice there are no students, right? There are no students. So then you're going to go back to the task pane, and then that's where you're going to use add students to sessions right here. So you're going to click on add students to sessions, click on start, and now right here you'll see add students to sessions, that drop down menu. This is the name, and then right here you can do search by last name if you want to, AO, and then search, and there's a student, or you can just click on that little down arrow right here and show all results, and all the students shows up. Let me just say this as well at this point. Every time you put a student in a session, their names no longer appears in this list. So the only students that appear in the list are students that are not in a session. So if you want this one, see this one has the boxes in it. So it may be easier to create the session first and then come back and put the students in, so that way you can see all those little boxes. So you can click on all these boxes, and those are the names I'm going to put in that session. So scroll down, and you're going to do add. And let's see what happened. Oh, okay. So changes were saved. So I'm going to go ahead and exit. And then now notice, those are the students that I just added in Ruffin's test right here. All right. So if I go back to testing and show the sessions, there's Ruffin right here with 5 students. All right. So you can create a session first and then come back and add the students later. Okay, any questions on that? Okay. All right, so Thursday, we're going to look at the rest of this that we did not get to. Removing examinees, editing a test session, deleting a test session, and all this other stuff. Okay, so it can be Thursday. So we can continue on with this on Thursday. All right, any questions at this point? All right, Katina, you're going to have to call me at some point so we can figure out why you're having issues. Miss Wheeler, did you eventually get in?
No.
Okay, you're going to have to call me at some point so we can figure out what the issue is.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll call you this afternoon. Are you available?
I am available after 1:45.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Okay, so that's going to end the meeting for today. Do we have any questions before we leave? I will send you the recording of this. Any questions?
Who do I check with about the ELP training?
That's Bobby.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Bank?
And Michael, our next meeting is this Thursday or
No, this Thursday. Remember, it's every Thursday. The last Thursday we were having internet issues, so I had to quickly put it in the afternoon. So I said, those of you that didn't attend the afternoon, I would have a makeup today. So today was the makeup for last Thursday.
I was just curious. I saw an email this morning about January the 27th, so I was thinking that was the next one.
No, what that one was about was Leap Connect.
Yes.
So Sonia has a meeting with STCs on Leap Connect. So she has a meeting today, I think at 12:30. Yes. And she has another one on the 27th.
Yes.
She has another one on the 27th at 9 o'clock. But remember, our meeting is at 9. So the email I sent said y'all need to attend today's meeting at 12:30 for Sonia.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because you're going to miss the 27th, which we're going to continue on about the mock administration.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you for bringing that up. All right, so don't forget all of you, Sonia has a meeting today on Leap Connect at 12:30. So that's today. Miss Wheeler, Miss Fanny will not be able to attend, and I think you'll have some Leap Connect students. So you're going to have to attend today's meeting at 12:30.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Are you sure we have Leap? Are you sure we have Leap Connect students?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you have Leap Connect students or not.
We do not.
Okay, then you do not, so you don't have to worry about it.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So I think everybody else, though, may have Leap Connect students, except for Miss Wheeler. All right, today's meeting's at 12:30. Y'all should have all gotten the invite from Sonia. All right, so that is it. I appreciate you attending. And Katina, I know you had a class at this time, and I still appreciate you attending. Oh,
Michael,
yes.
I don't have an invite from Sonia.
Okay.
So I guess we have
What school is that?
Northeast.
Okay. Sonia,
Northeast, Miss Brown.
Northeast says they didn't. Lori Brown did not get an invite from you. Can you send her the invite? Lori Brown at Northeast. The STC is on
Northeast High.
Northeast High.
She must be, I think I sent it to Miss Morgan.
Miss Morgan is on leave right now.
Okay, I'll forward it to her.
Okay. Ms. Brown, Sonia says she's going to send you the link.
Okay, thank
Now,
you.
the rest of you, if you didn't sign in, please sign in. Please sign in. All right, and that's it. And I'll see y'all Thursday.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.